everybody, it's March 25th. Um, so let's see what's happened over the weekend, just to update you guys. Okay, so 2 weeks from tonight, I will activate LearnDash and start putting reindeer together and then you guys saw my posts about I do have literally like if you guys see the guide section in the Facebook group, you'll see like snippets of stuff I put together in there, different topics. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. It starts with putting your LLC together, gets into options. So literally, I have about 2,000 pages of material that I'm going to go through and I'm going to be posting. That's going to be that those and about all that material is going to be going into the written part on LearnDash, all of the modules as well as the video modules. So literally almost 2,000 pages. That includes a lot of samples. We have a lot of HUDs. We have a lot more because I didn't want to put like 1,000 things in the frickin' files because nobody would ever be able to find anything. But I'm going to be able to actually put those into a better format on LearnDash. So that's going to be so while I'm doing the videos, those 5 to 7 minute video modules, I'll be actually putting in all that information and grouping it together. And then eventually the goal will be, if you're going to be looking at multifamily, you got all the multifamily stuff together. You're going to be looking at flips, you got all the flip stuff. That way people don't have to go and look for stuff. I want to make it really user easy, user friendly. It has to be user friendly because that's how we're going to get a lot of people when they come in. They just easily find what they're looking for, whether it's video, whether it's doing a live session, or whether it's doing the written information. And the reason I'm also doing that is I want to make sure that people have different learning styles. Some people learn by reading. Some people obviously learn by visual. Some people learn by, audio. So we want to give people, the 3 or 4 different ways of learning. And you guys probably saw me post over this weekend. I even said if I could find someone who could do sign language, if we had people that were, we could get somebody in the program, and the reindeer program is deaf, and I'd be like, hey, I'll try to find somebody who can do sign language if I have to. I want to try to make this as user friendly possible to help build it, because there's a lot of people that have like I said, everybody has a different learning style, and some people, it's nothing against them, some people actually have some stability with that. I want to make sure that we accommodate everyone. So it's kind of a interesting approach, but I want to make sure that we want people to come in and feel at home right away, like a lot of the associates do. A lot of you guys, people come on and get to know each other, get to do deals with each other, and that helps. And I want to make sure that people come on and they find a welcoming place, and that's going to attract more people. Um, so we're good on that. So it's kind of one thing I've been working on over the weekend. I've also, like I said, I got 2,000 pages. I've been kind of going through it and kind of marking the folders so I have it so I can start putting up the priority stuff. What I'm gonna probably do at first is make sure I have all the business formation stuff and all the basics, just to get the fundamental stuff up so people have access to that. The associates, our Zooms are still going to be as advanced as we need to be, because a lot of people are doing advanced stuff. But I want to make sure that at least on Reindeer, that I have everything organized, more fundamentals, more to help people, because we're going to get a lot of people that are going to be new. And I want those people. And I think you guys saw my post about when it was like a week ago, when I posted that I don't have a problem bringing people in who don't have money, or they don't have the money that they need, that you might think people might tell them they need to have to be a real estate investor. So I want to bring people in and welcome them in and help them develop that. So it's going to be a lot of that's going to be the challenge for me, is getting a lot of the stuff up right away, is getting the videos made, the 5 to 7 minute modules, and getting all the written materials up and organized so that people can go in and they can, because like I said, man, it's 2,000 pages. There's a lot of stuff I have to, and luckily I've already broken a lot of it down previously, because you guys see where I put all that stuff in the guide section in the Facebook group. So it's basically just taking that, and it's probably, I'm going to say probably 100 times what that is. Just what I can upload to there. I didn't want to get too crazy there, because again, Facebook's very limited, just like they're limited on files. They're limited on the guides where how you can put the information in there. It's not the easiest system. If you guys go take a look at it, if you haven't taken a look at it, go look at it tonight or tomorrow on your time, and give me feedback by like Wednesday, because you know, if there's a way to do it that's close to that. Like I like to have, you know, you guys see me sometimes I post. I post when I post. I very much I don't like get into like two or three subjects. I try to be to the point, and I post maybe one or two paragraphs, maybe three, and then I'm done. And people say that's because they see, you know, I post like three or four times sometimes to get something across because I don't want people. Because like I said, I've learned that people don't have, and I'm not saying it's bad, but the attention span thing. People look at stuff and they can easily absorb something that's smaller, and you kind of have to be universal for everybody unless somebody else is a specific title where they want more, and then it's like you almost have to cater to them. So I want to be user friendly. I want to be able to have everything concise to the point and not be, you know, not where you like jump from one section to the other without, you know, so everything's going to be kind of divided. I want to have everything kind of so people can go find things easily, and then they can go and, you know, if they want to go learn wholesaling, they can go to the wholesaling section. They're not going to find anything flips. They have to go to another section to do that, things like that. So that way we're able to keep everything together. People can absorb things if that's what they want to do and they don't want to do something else and they don't have that, you know, that TMI stuff. We want people to learn and people to, you know, when they get, you know, that saying where you get told something like three times or something, by the time you've heard it three times, it's probably ingrained in your head. You know, it's like I was joking to a neurologist. I was like, how do people have all this? You know, I was asking the question about how do people retain a lot of stuff? Because you think about it, how much stuff you can recall. And like, you know, you get into dreams, and I know we're talking real estate, but think about, you know, when you hear about those people talk about like dreams and stuff, you know, they have those doctors that specialize on that and where how stuff is vivid, like, you know, memories and dreams work, you know, how the brain works for that. It's kind of fascinating uh, to a point, but I want to make sure that people have a way to learn things. I want to find neurolinguistics. There was a really good injury attorney in Denver and I had him for a case I got rear-ended in 2008, and he was a neurolinguistics guy, and so when he would go to court, he could like those guys could twist words and make things work, and people would, you know, they studied neurolinguistics. A lot of really good lawyers do that. I think my brother took that when he went to Cornell Law. He took neurolinguistics. So I want to make sure that we have a way to help people learn at all different levels where, you know, because some people need a little slower approach, some people need a faster approach. So it's important when you guys are, you know, giving me feedback on these sessions, when you guys start seeing this stuff come up and I start putting it in there, keep in mind that I'm going to load it up there. I'm not going to do anything as like a true rough draft, but if you, you know, let me know in the session, like I said, it'll start 2 weeks from tonight. I'll start putting stuff up, making videos, and it'll be like that top down versus bottom up thing I've been talking about. Everything will be like, you know, we're going to be putting a lot of videos on there, but I want feedback coming to me on that. We probably won't have too many outsiders. You know, one of the guides that we bring on, we still need to put that together. How we're going to select guides and all that stuff because we want people that are awesome. You know, that we want people that are been there, done that. We don't want people that are, you know, brand new. We don't want somebody who's got five flips teaching people how to do flips. It doesn't work. They haven't seen enough. But I know, and nothing against people that have five flips. You know, we love them too. But you know, we want people who have 50 flips or 100 flips and stuff because they know that, you know, they've seen it. You guys want, you know how that saying is, you know, they've seen it all. You want people that have seen a lot of scenarios, a lot of things come up, a lot of problems. You guys look at the HTV shows. How many flipping shows do you watch? And, you know, even if they have minor things, I mean, obviously, you know, the producers probably, you know, like a lot of reality shows, they probably amplify a few of the issues, but nobody, you ever seen any of those shows where somebody lost money on a deal? They don't want people to know that they did that. But you think about all those HTV, the flipping shows and stuff, they have, those people have done how many hundreds of flips? Otherwise, they, you know, so it's like I want to make sure that we have those kind of people that have been there, done that, seen that. They know this, they know the things that can come up, and I want them to be open about it. I want to be the one of the few groups where we actually make sure that people know these are the problems that are going to happen, and these are how you overcome them. And you get stronger in other areas, and you overcome problems by being stronger in more areas. You know, and if you're weak, if somebody's weak in something, as a group, you know, associates, one of the things I'm saying with facilitators, you guys will be getting a revenue share, so you have a stake in this. You do have a stake in it. Is that we want you guys to facilitate and kind of be there to to your experience and kind of help some of these people learn. And then they'll bring you guys deals. They'll have more people to partner with. If you're a lender, you'll have more people to lend money to. I want you guys to be able to use this whole reindeer thing to build your business as well. I mean, you guys have a lot of you guys have been around a year. We've had a few people obviously been here since 2020, but we want to make sure that everybody's it's really important to me that you guys this benefits all of you, plus the revenue sharing. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the revenue sharing and how that's going to work in a minute. I was thinking Danny was going to come on tonight. I think he's going to come on Wednesday. I know he's got some, he has some stuff coming up. We also got blasted pretty good last night with snow. So I know a lot of people are never going to dig it out for the second time in like a week. So revenue share. So what's going to happen, guys? You see a gentleman named Paul in our group, Paul Hagee. Paul's in our group. He's one of my best friends. He's been here since 2007. He's a contractor. He does a lot of stuff. He was a banker before that, and he's used to work for Chase Bank, and he was a branch manager, personal loan officer, and all that stuff. Before he saw that his construction clients were making a lot of money, so he went in the construction business. And then so I've known him since 2007. He does a lot of work for my parents and stuff. So Paul is in our group, and Paul's going to be kind of like he's going to represent me a lot of times. He's going to help manage so obviously Danny as Agents Gather, LearnDash is good down Agents Gather. LearnDash has the payment processing. So when it goes through, Danny's going to basically transfer it to our account with that Paul's going to basically be along with myself and all that. He's going to basically distribute it. And it's basically, like I said, $30 and $15 out of $99 per share are going to be pooled. Now, obviously, we got a couple $100. We're not going to put it out right away because we don't want to give people $2, or $3 or $5. So what Paul's going to do is he's going to pool that money until the point where we can at least start sending people, so it'll accumulate. It's not going to go anywhere. And then you guys as associates, it won't go, we won't do anything with the subscribers, but you guys as associates will get monthly reports. You know how many subscribers are in there, and you guys know every subscriber, $45, $30 for you guys and the facilitators, $15 for the guides. That'll be separate, and Paul will basically accumulate that. And so what'll happen is it might be Square Payroll, something like that. There's an interface where you guys can actually set up your own account. You put in your information. We don't see it. And then basically every month it'll all get input. However you want to get it just paid to you. So you put in all your payment information. You put in your, I think it's, I don't know if it's W-9 or 1099 or what on that end, but that's how you guys will get distributed money. So associates will every month you guys will get a report, how many subscribers and what the money is. Like I said, we'll do a hold on it until it comes to the point where we can put, we can hopefully pay people up, it'll start out slow. Eventually my goal, we get 1,000 subscribers, we're putting $30,000 a month into, and your guys, there's 150 people, that's like what, $200 a month. We get 5,000, that increases you to, $1,000 a month, 10,000. You guys are making $2,000 a month with 10,000 subscribers. So that's a pretty good deal. And then obviously you put in your information, you take care of your own taxes and all that stuff on it. So that's kind of just what I'm putting out there for you guys to know what's going to happen as far as the money goes. So a lot of this right now is just housekeeping, guys, getting ready for this launch, because I know a lot of people are kind of, they're doing some things. A lot of people are in Life Changing has got their program with Casey. I'm going to be on the next one because I want to learn how they do things too. I mean, I'm always learning myself. That's how I learned all this. It was weird. Like 7 years ago, this time I didn't know anything about real estate investing. So I picked up and absorbed a lot. I've learned a lot. I spent a lot of time learning stuff, doing stuff and doing practical. So it helps a lot. But what I want to do is I want to basically get in the point where starting next week on Mondays and Thursdays will be the Zooms. Monday nights will be more fundamentals. Thursday night will be the funding. We will not meet on Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm going to be dedicating to putting the reindeer together. And then Monday and Thursday mornings before our Zooms, I'll be working on associates. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll be doing a lot of different stuff for both. So that way I have that way I have the mornings on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then so that's kind of going to be my schedule as far as getting this launched. So we want to do the 2 Zooms a week. We got a bunch of people that are coming into the group this week. I'm expecting by next week we'll reach the capacity of 125, which is a good number because I want to have 150 total, including 25 guides. And then over the next week we'll start talking about how to select guides, putting the committee together. I've had other people tell me they want to be on the committee. So I don't even know how the committee's going to look. I'm going to pretty much reach out to you guys and say, what do you want to do? How do you want to see? Do you know anybody? Do we have people in the group that are associates? And you guys can double dip as far as I'm concerned. So if you're both an associate / facilitator and a guide, you can fit both pools. But if you guys know people out there, I want to have really good people that want to enhance their business by becoming a guide and being able to pass down information. It's like, and we don't want people that are gurus or mentors or that kind of thing. We want people really to help people guide people through the processes, learning the business, and then being successful. And where you guys as facilitators and associates, you're building your business at the same time. You can kind of circle around and facilitate conversation, stimulate conversation, see who needs help, who needs resources. You guys should know a lot of the resources. That's going to be a huge part of it, and that's why you're getting the revenue share. Is basically so, and you can build your business. I want everybody in here to be successful. This isn't something where it's like thousands of people and only 10% are successful. Everybody else is paying the bills or whatever. That's kind of what we're trying to focus on. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys that as a conversation. Let me kind of go around real quick to some of you guys. Like I said, we've been doing this in about 45 minutes the last couple of weeks, just because I know people are starting to get to the point where we can't really show more forms. We've shown them so many times. So Thursday night's going to be all funding. So if you guys got a deal, bring it Thursday. So let me go around. I know Zeke, I just talked to you about Wyoming. What are you doing? You still looking for houses up there for properties?
Yeah.
Anything any closer?
No.
I've looked. I don't know. I think about reaching out to Benson and seeing just if he can tell me if he's got any Wyoming stuff, if he can look at it before it's I'm sure that it's like a lot of those states like Montana, Idaho, and all that are probably the same. Not a lot of movement.
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of
So,
people moving in.
oh yeah, there's a group that's like on Facebook. I saw it. They're like live in California and like one of the destinations is Idaho. Like everybody wants to go to Idaho and Montana and South Dakota. I'm assuming Wyoming as well.
Mhm.
And I don't know, man. It's like it's weird. I mean, there's so much stuff going on here. I'm not going to get into the politics side of things, but there's a lot of stuff in Colorado going on right now that I'm not happy about myself. So let's just try to. We just need to get you a deal and get you, a couple deals done. So get you going. Doris, what's up? How are you?
I'm hanging in there. How about you guys?
Doing good. A little bit under the. I'm not sick under the weather, but I'm just like this is the time of year in Colorado where the weather's like it's 71 days, it's snowing the next, so I'm kind of like, I just
Yeah.
kind of trying to prevent a cold or something. Yeah, because this sucks, man. This is the worst. This is actually the worst time of the year. I don't like mid March to mid April. It's just because it fluctuates so
Well,
much. Yeah, and we got pounded like last week. Got 4 feet of snow, and last time we got another 16 inches, but it didn't stick to the roads. It was like the wet,
uh,
and it sucks. It's almost like I don't know, like whipped cream or something. Consistency of snow. It's
mm.
like really heavy wet and stuff, but it's melted on the roads by about noon. So what are you working on real estate wise?
Well, I got stranded in Lancaster last week. I went out to check out this 6 unit, and I'm glad I went out there because the guy was asking for some ridiculous amount of money, and the place needed to be condemned. So I basically told him, I said, you need to tear it down and build something anew because he was asking for like 900K. I'm like, you'd be lucky if you see 200K. I mean, like it was boarded up. I don't think he had any water in there, and it looked like someone broke in and stole the copper tubing. And I told him that, and he said, "No, no, no." He just, I said, "So someone broke in, and if they broke in, they took all the copper tubing out of your property." And when I told him that I'm aware it's going to tax auction, you might want to try to sell and get something. But I said, "You're not going to see 900K for it. I don't care." And so
Yeah.
it didn't happen. And then Uber didn't come and get me when they're supposed to got me. And I was stuck in Lancaster for about 5 hours. And time I got home, well, Thursday was come and going for me. So I'm like, I can't believe this, but it is what it is. At least I got out and saw something. You know,
Oh, that's good. I mean, getting out and
yeah,
seeing that helps because
yeah,
especially if the more you see stuff, the more comfortable you are.
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought the number was too good to be true. And I told him, I said, "Look, you don't have anybody in here. You lied on your paper, say you had a rent road." And he said, "Well, it's be easy." I said, "No, sir, it's not." And he didn't like my comment. He just saw me coming, thought for sure I was just gonna take his word for it. And I told him, I asked him for documents, and I said, "Well, according to property taxes, you owe something like 4K in taxes. How you propose to do that?" So
Yeah, it's good luck with that on
that's what
his
I
part.
basically told him. But
Yeah.
then he left me out there, and I said, "Okay." So it won't be the first time I got stranded, but I didn't think it'll take me 5 hours to get back into Harrisburg.
Wow, that's gotta be rough.
I know. That's why I said I'm
Uh,
hoping and praying when I see the doctor in 2 weeks, he was let me start driving a little bit. Hopefully my pinched nerve is out to the point where it doesn't trigger itself.
I got to drive up to Vail on the 9th to go see a concert, and it's like I'm like I hate driving up and that on I-70 in this time of year because you can drive up one day and it's 70, the next day it could be like snowpacked and icy coming home.
Yeah,
So it's like,
I saw
yeah.
Evergreen had 4 feet of snow. I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, my parents had to like literally they had to hire they had to get it literally took them a while. They found some high school kids finally and paid them to dig them out because
Mm,
all the snowplow companies got slammed. And my dad's landscaping company. My dad doesn't have a landscaping contract with them. He does landscaping, not snowplowing with them. And so they were busy their snowplowing, and they finally found some neighborhood kids to come and get them at least. So because my mom is not driving with her shoulder problem right now, so at least she's just to get my dad's car out, so
mm.
they can go to the store and they're not stranded.
Well, y'all
So
made ABC News last week.
yeah, I don't have to worry about that because where I live, I have literally the snowplows come and go, and
No, no,
they get
what I'm
the
saying,
street.
if I saw it on TV here, it was pretty bad because they were saying that y'all had 4 feet snow drifts, and they were saying that y'all was under this, y'all was supposed to be stay in place. They like painted this horror picture.
Oh, yeah, they do the accident alert where it's like if nobody's hurt, don't just call us later and fill out the report, things like that. So yeah, it's pretty, I'm used to that because I spent 4 years on a fire department on I-70 that had, we used to call the I-70 ice capades anytime it snowed because we had an 86 car pilot there in November 2020. I mean, November 2000. It was November 2000. I remember being out there on the overpass, and we were on the overpass. We were hearing cars still wreck under us. We couldn't even go down and start, finding out what was going on and who was hurt until they stopped wrecking. It was
Wow.
pretty horrible. Yeah, it's a pretty nasty wreck. One of the biggest ones I ever was on. We had 80. It was 86 cars. We had two fatalities. It took us 14 hours. It took them 14 hours to get all the cars off the road.
That's
So
scary.
luckily I got sent to the church to coordinate so I gotta go inside. I was like, I gotta, so I'm not out in the blizzard. Red Cross is there at Coco, and I was like, I'm happy. I'm a good thing I'm a chief. So I had
Mm,
to go coordinate. She was like, go coordinate at the church all the recovery.
mm,
Because we had to help people figure out when their cars were going to be brought in. Some were lots, even some of the ones that weren't wrecked were brought in tow trucks just to get them off the road. So people had to recover their cars, and then the ones that were wrecked. All
mm.
right, cool. that's a good news. At least you got out and saw something. Let me check some other people real quick. Stimmy,
Okay.
what's going on? How are you?
Good, good. Just I'm trying to get some deals funded.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the
Okay.
reindeer, the whole premise for us then is really you want us to sell the learning program to basically newbies.
It can be an experience, people, and it's not really selling it. It's we want you to be like, you guys are gonna get a no matter what, every associate's getting revenue share, and I said
Right.
revenue rather than profit. So if you guys want to put your experience together and bring people into the group, I mean, it's just gonna pay off for you guys as well. And people laughed about the name for a second until they realized somebody actually complimented me today. Said, "Use the AI to come up with that because that was
Yeah, I
really
saw
good."
that.
And I was like, dude, I came with them because I just started a piece. I was like, Gator. How did Pace come up with Gator? I mean, it's like some. I wanted to be something that would just stand out, and people will joke about it for a second, and then they'll go, "Okay, yeah, it's all in the words."
Yeah, but part of what I was thinking is once it's all ready, I want to go to some of the local REITs around me and try to hit up some of the newbies that are brand new to real estate investing and offer the program out to them.
Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, that'll be good. I don't know exactly like if we'd be able to incentivize that because I'm picturing in my head, we got the difference between the $45 per subscription per month, and then obviously Danny's got payment processing. He's got it covered. He's going to get a piece of it off, of that too for hosting it, for supporting agents gather and all that. And then, so I'm going to try to I'll try to figure out something out if people recruit people, but I'm trying to put it where we got 150 people, 125 are sharing pretty much. Hopefully at some point we get to 10,000.
Yeah.
I think we get a lot of people who come in for a couple months, and we're going to put something in there. I think there's a programming where people have to be a member for like 3 months or something before they can pause it, and they
Mhm.
could hit pause just like on Hulu or something where you can go 2 months without paying, and then you can kind of like if you can come in, you can binge, catch up, and then you can take a month off or something. It's kind of we just decided to make it flexible. So yeah, I mean, once it's up and it'll be up and running, and then it's just going to be like it's not going to be all there at once. It's going to take me most of the like 6 months probably just to even get all the 100. And I'm just doing 5 to 7 minute introductions, on each one of the videos that I'm doing, and then we're going to have the guides come in and hopefully put in the first layer of guides, and then a second layer and a third, to eventually hit 3 people for everything because I want to have 3 different perspectives, 3 different, it could be 3 different people from 3 different parts of the country. Somebody could be doing multifamily in 3 different areas, where they could be doing class B, C or whatever, especially now when you got a lot of housing issues and things like that, how people are working navigating. So that's kind of the concept of it. Most of the material that I'm putting in there is I'm taking the guides section that we have in the group already. It'll be probably 100 times more than what I was able to put there because Facebook. I got tired of having to fit everything into that.
Right. Are you gonna maybe like beta it first just to
That's what
get
I'm
out?
doing. That's what I'm kind of doing
Yeah.
with this, and then I'm offering that. Just come in for $100 of the $399 if you want a lifetime membership. In
Right.
exchange, if you come in for that $100, we'll give you a lifetime. You won't get the revenue share like the associates, but you'll get a share. So that way they have a little incentive to come in, and then saying they get a month or 2 months to beta it, and then if they decide to stay, then it's they just got to pay the difference, or they can leave, and then they just paid the $100, and that gives them a little bit of chance to beta it because I don't like to beta stuff. I want to get this thing going. I mean, we were launching it 4 years ago right now. We were supposed to be
Right.
launching it in May 2020. And it
Well,
was
yeah, I
really,
think I think the associates, I mean, can be a sales and marketing arm for you, for us, everybody, right?
exactly, yeah,
So
and bring people to it, and you guys are getting revenue share across the board. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, and then
flexible.
whenever you're comfortable in putting like a one pager or a marketing brochure that we can go out and market it, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on some of that now, so I may have something that's close to it. If you're gonna do like a print piece or something, I might have to rethink what I was doing. If
Yeah.
it's a lot easier, obviously in the group, but yeah, bring people to it. Yeah, I mean, people will be able to start signing up for it in April, on the $100. And the reason I'm saying because I didn't want to give people an empty group, to come to. That way they can come and work with you guys as associates. The only thing they're not going to get is they're not going to get revenue sharing. They'll still
Right.
be able to, come on our Zooms and stuff like that until it's 100%. Then everything's going to be on LearnDash, except we're still going to have at least one Zoom a week for associates. The associates will always have a higher level. You know, you guys will always be like it. A lot of times, it may end up just being where we coordinate what you guys do for reindeer. I want everybody here to make a couple $1,000s a month to be able to supplement your, whether it's supplementing your income or putting money into your business. It's like, and it's almost passive, but yeah, people want to recruit, you know, and I'm upfront, you know, it's $45 a month. And so I figured out I'll probably put another $10 a month into some marketing because we get 10, you know, oh, you start getting 1,000, 2,000, that starts adding up to some marketing money. And then Danny will obviously do a lot of stuff off the top end, and all that stuff. And then, you know, Kevin and Jesse and I, and then I got, you know, a little bit. But I honestly, that's a great idea. You guys are more than welcome, and because it's a benefit to the whole group as well. I just want to make sure because we do have some people that just haven't been. You know, there are people that join that are here. You guys see their names in the member section. They come in, they get resources, and maybe they're doing deals with each other. We don't see too many of them. I just don't want to get to the point I have to be upfront with it, but I don't want to get to the point where people don't see people and then they go, hey, why are they getting, you know, equal? And I'm saying, well, maybe we can figure out something, incentivize something, you know, where we can, you know, throw another $5 or $10 and some incentives. We get, you know, if we get 1,000 subscriptions, people are joining, we can, you know, throw a little extra cash or, but I want to also use some of the revenue to buy more, get more resources. I'm going to be going to MPLA and some other of the conferences just to kind of try to find more capital, more resources. If I can bring more capital to the group, that'll be huge. Because Gwen's still having that, you know, I have to tell everybody, Gwen's still having that issue where people that are up for EMD and GAP and they don't want to follow through on any of the documents. And it's since she asked for it. I tell people you go apply for a car loan or a mortgage, you got to do everything the bank wants you to do. Why isn't this any different? We got money in EMD and GAP. If people work with Gwen and they go through everything that she asked for, she's got money for them in EMD and GAP. So I want to make sure that this group is we should be, I think 2 weeks from tonight, I'll actually have it up and running. So it'll still be, you know, probably a couple of weeks before we get a lot of, you know, my goal is to do 5 videos a week. Try to do, and then a minimum of, absolute minimum of 3 if, you know, but I want to try to do 5 videos a week. Doing 100, it's going to take me almost 6 months just to get 100 of the intro videos up. And I'm going to do them and then host them. And then you guys can help me. I mean, I almost like, you know, if you guys bring people in who can be the guides behind it and start putting it together, and they'll get compensated. And then, you know, like I said, I'll have Paul set up so he'll handle all the financial stuff. You know, he's got connections that all the banks he used to work at. So it's cool. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm pretty excited because I think and I think it's actually been flipped, kind of the script's been flipped on how it's going to run. Because this, you know, it was going to be top down. We were just going to put it, people will subscribe. There wasn't going to be very much interaction. Now there's going to be absolute interaction. I want people involved. I want to have people like facilitators, like associates and stuff. I want people to do their own hosting. Like, hey, we're unpacking tonight. This is going to be everybody that wants to do short-term rentals. Let's meet and have a short-term rental Zoom and just knock out all these short-term rentals, go over the underwriting, do all the numbers, you know, things like that, or have a multifamily night, or hey, tonight we're going to talk flips, and then have everybody kind of facilitate. That's the whole idea of calling it facilitators, having people that can go and, you know, or having lead generation. You know, we got, you know, obviously Zeke was talking about how it's frustrating in Wyoming, you know, where he lives. He wants to do deals in Wyoming, South Dakota, Montana, Idaho. All those states are hard to find a lot of leads on. I'm going to reach out to Benson, and I don't have a problem. I'm going to try to get, you know, going to see if I can pay Benson to get a little bit and access to Privy and stuff as well for everybody reindeer. We may have to run it out of you know, one source or 2 or 3 people just to kind of help people find deals. But we also want to. We're going to get big enough that people are going to be bringing us deals. I have a feeling that once this thing's up and running in a good 6 months to a year, everybody's going to know about us, and people are going to know, here's where you bring deals. And I said, guess what? You join for $99, you get to participate, bring your deal. I mean, it's not a bad deal. Nobody's gonna have to pay $2,000-3,000 for a guru or a program, and then have to pay $2,000 or $3,000 for another one. You know, I have a friend, my friend Larry, he's a retired Marine gunnery sergeant. He was in our 2020 group. Larry's Him and his wife spent like 50 grand on education. It was like they came into our group in 2020 and they were working on a rental property and they ended up selling it finally to get out of it, but they ended up learning a lot of stuff that we passed on to them. It was 50. I can't believe, it's Renatus and Fortune Builders. They went all in on Renatus and Fortune Builders and bought every one of their upsells. And people do that, and I'm like, ridiculous. It's like ridiculous to pay Fortune Builders or anybody, and Fortune Builders isn't as big as they were. A lot of companies haven't even recovered from the pandemic. And then Nudge kind of got Nudge and I think it's Xeris is the other one. It's a Z that had and Fortune Builders all kind of got nailed by FTC. All right, cool. Let's reach out to Pippa next, and then Sean, I'll get you because I know you got a lot of stuff going on. Pippa, what's going on? How are you?
Great. Just, sewing up loose ends, just waiting to close, on a property and just evaluating the landscape for some more deals like everybody else.
Yeah, cool. I mean, that's what everybody's doing. I think we're gonna have a lot of deals. Like I was just saying, I think we're gonna have a lot of opportunities come our way just because people know us a lot
Sorry.
more. So cool. Sean, what's going on?
So Pippa is downplaying her. She's being modest.
I
She
figured
ain't
that.
no matter what your experience level, to have somebody that's like-minded that you can bounce ideas off of each other. And Pippa's been instrumental in reaching out and making the connections. She and I are doing a deal in Texas that neither of us will ever step foot in the property. But she's been like, line up the realtor, line up the contractor, line up all the people on the ground to make the deal work. And yeah, it was a good amount of work so we're what Pippa? We're like 3 weeks into, and we'll
Yes.
close on Thursday.
Yes.
And she's put some blood, sweat, and tears into kind of lining it all up. We've worked with financing to be able to get the financing going through, and that was tough enough. And now, you always have the obstacles and the hurdles and just kind of knocking through title. You just always have to be on the ball for making sure that everything lines up really well and it closes smoothly. And I think that, some people, it seems to me like in my early days, I made the mistake of just assuming that title would just make it happen. And unfortunately, it's not always that way. So you just kind of have to stay on the title company and be like, okay, do we have everything? Do we have everything? Do we have everything? And sometimes they don't like it when you bug them, but I don't care if they like it or not. I'm going to bug them and just make sure everything closes. And Pippa's like, it's something that Pippa could do on her own. It's something that I could do on my own, but it's something that when we work together, it's just 10 times easier to brainstorm and smooth it out and make sure that everything goes smoothly. So, and that's just the beginning of the work. Once we close, we have to work through the rehab and we have to work through the marketing and get it on market. And so, it's always an adventure. And I'll tell you, I get sick of every deal by the end of the deal. And then of course, when it closes, I'm like, oh, this is why I do it. But doing it with Pippa has made it, more enjoyable and easier to have somebody that's like-minded and just, okay, here's the obstacle, let's think through it. And she's good at problem solving. She's really good at being really direct with people and, hey, this is what we need. And I'm all, kind of dancing around, okay, this is what we need. And she's like, wait a second, this is what we need. And she's good at that. And so, it's always that, kind of, that work. And so that's what I really like is being able to work with somebody else that you can just kind of complement each other. And no matter how strong your skill set might be, somebody else's perspective and that brainstorming and that really being able to kind of collaborate and pull things together just because you're kind of brainstorming together. She's downplaying. She's being modest. Don't let Pippa be modest. She's pushing through bulldozer style and making it work. So,
Hey, Sean.
No, it's exciting.
Sean, you want to share with us what you guys are doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got Pippa actually found it. It's a property in Texas. It's Meridian, Texas. So it's a little bit rural. You know, we found the property and Pippa and I worked through to make sure that the numbers work right. It's a little bit light on the rehab, but because it's foundational rehab, Pippa was able to find a foundation expert guy is he out of Fort Worth, Pippa?
He's out of Fort Worth.
So he's traveling a little ways. He's not close, but it's in Meridian, Texas, and so it's a little bit rural. But she was able to schmooze this guy, this contractor, into traveling a little bit in order to make it work. And he's not only doing a little bit of foundational work, he was really good about really diagnosing the foundational work and making sure that it wasn't anything crazy major, but it's a pretty easy fix. He has to shim it. And he's very knowledgeable in exactly what that means and exactly what kind of, pinning down the soil reports and all of the, the intel into that. And that's not the most expensive part. That's the, obviously the most concerning part is we don't want anything crazy with foundational. He's doing a little bit of cleanup and then a whole lot of cosmetic work, and it's a property that still has like personal belongings in it. So he's cleaning up and he's doing landscaping and stuff like that. So still landing on the light side of the rehab budget. Pippa was able to negotiate a really good purchase price, and so we bought it for really low. Do you want to know the numbers? We bought it for 110. It will, on the back end, it will sell, and I'm pretty confident that on the conservative numbers, it'll sell for 220. So it gave us a good margin for doing some rehab. So we're what is our budget, Pippa? 24,000 into rehab?
Yes. Yeah.
Really? 24 with foundation work? That's pretty good.
With foundation
Yeah, the
work. So he's
foundation
only
work is very
shimming.
light.
Yeah, he's only shimming, and he was able to
Not
get
simming,
some
but
soil
shimming.
reports and make sure that he didn't have to do anything major, that the soils would allow him to simply shim it and not do anything, pylons or anything like that. So he very knowledgeable, and he's not the cheapest guy, but he was definitely the most knowledgeable guy. And so, definitely you get what you pay for. And so we're really happy with this contractor guy that's eager to go, and he kind of made it easy for us that he's like one-stop shop in that he's not only willing to do the skilled labor, but he's willing to do a little bit of kind of the grunt labor and make it a little bit easier for us. Pippa was able to line up a realtor, and she talked to a few of them. And the realtor's been really solid in being able to help us with, some input and some advice, and says that we could probably price it a little bit higher. We've held off on getting our hopes up for what the pricing is going to be until we're done with the rehab, and then we'll kind of reevaluate and see how aggressive or, how good we want to be on pricing. I'll tell you that Gwen has helped with the gap funding. Life Changing has helped with the primary lending, and so it's really been a complete associates collaboration on kind of working through. And it's a first time working with a lot of the people in associates to kind of make it. It really is this huge team effort, and it's I mean, if it were easy, everybody would do it. It's always, working through, oh, there's this obstacle and this obstacle, and now this thing that, and it's funny because the processor was asking for some paperwork that we were like, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? And Pippa's like this tiger that she's like, no, this is the way you have to look at that, and this is the way you have to look at that. And as soon as she like smoothed it out and explained it and said, I've done my research, and this is what we need, and this is what we need, he was like, okay, we're ready to go. And so I mean, it really, as much as you kind of hate it, it's a really neat project that we're, nowhere in the clear. We're in the middle, in the thick of it. But it's fun working through all of the obstacles.
Will be
That's
And
great.
great.
Sean's been a great teacher. Yes.
Yeah, well, it'll be great. It'll be great hearing about it during progress, and then when you guys sell it, it'll even be better. That's gonna be awesome. So
Yes, for
hopefully,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to it. That's great. I mean, to get all the, all the parts of it, all the people parts, all the,
It's definitely the moving parts and the people part. You're right. The people parts is
we'll get
all
the
of the
human
people
resource.
parts.
we got the
Yeah,
human
the
resource
human
talent of the
part's the
group.
best part.
And
of
we
the-
do
of
have
the
to give
group.
Nate some credit because I did go to him first and say, Nate, who can help me figure out some of these numbers? And he's the one who said, have you given Sean a call? And he's the one who told me to call you, Sean. So that's how we got connected.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's what everybody in the group should be doing. If you guys, there's people that'll watch this that don't, you guys never see them. I mean, it's funny. I talk to a lot of people that never come on the Zooms. Just they join to get to read some of the downloads and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm telling people, guys, you gotta do partnerships with people in the group. That's what it's for. And especially brand new people. If brand new people are come up and they pair up with experienced people, they can you can get deals done faster, and getting something's better than getting nothing. Some new people just strike out because they're like afraid of a partnership or doing some kind of JV deal or something. It's like build your resume. It's there's a lot of sometimes you gotta crawl before you walk, before you run. That
But
whole
even
analogy.
that, Pippa is very pipeline minded. This deal is nowhere near done. And Pippa's like, what's the next deal? And I went to a networking event that somebody was talking about my local market here in Columbus. And he gave a presentation that was the most compelling presentation about the market here and the industry here and what's driving the market and how the local economic growth patterns are really ripe for housing and people moving into this market. And Columbus is this like unknown jewel. Did you know that Columbus not only is working on being a leader in semiconductors, globally semiconductors, but Columbus is already a leader, the number one producer of solar powered production in the world. And
Yeah.
so all of these companies are bringing people in, and all those people need housing. And so it really, I love real estate because it all ties together that way. And so working with people who are like-minded like that is why I like it.
I think isn't Intel building something there?
Intel has this huge in kind of the northeast corner of the Columbus kind of metro area. And yeah, this huge factory that is a clean factory for building all of the semiconductors, and it's like a little mini Silicon Valley of Columbus, and it's crazy all that goes into it. But they're bringing in where Columbus has recently tried really hard to keep college graduates and everything local. For like, I guess the first time they're reaching out and they're bringing people nationally into Columbus. So they're bringing all of these, skilled laborers in, and
Yeah,
the effect that that'll have on the housing market is amazing.
yeah. My sister's a vice president for Intel. She's out of
Right.
Portland, but yeah, she during the pandemic, the chairman made her like put her in charge of like because all the managers and VPs had to manage their people and check on them when they went to work from home and all that for morale. And then my sister was put in charge of actually checking in on them and reporting to the chairman.
I want to be part of your family, Nate. I'm happy with being like a distant part of your family, but if your parents ever want to adopt anybody, keep me in mind.
I know, yeah, I know, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Well, I mean, and people are like, "What do you do now?" You're like, "You're not working for like," and I'm like, "I did my stuff in the past." I
Right.
was a fire chief and all that stuff. When I was a young, I mean, I was 31 years old and I had 300 volunteer firefighters under me. I had 19 fire stations, and I was 31 years old. And I had the
Right.
5 bugles as the chief and all that stuff. I wanted to go to Las Cruces last week to see Toto, but I couldn't get down there, and it sucked because I wanted to go down there, and I was like, I was looking at flying to El Paso, and it's like it sucked. I was talking to my friend who was the chief of Las Cruces, and he went out to be the chief of Clark County, Nevada, and then he was the emergency services for Nikki Haley when she was governor of South Carolina. He was like the emergency manager. So I wanted to go see all my friends down there. But yeah, I did my stuff like back what like my brother and stuff do now. I don't know. My brother's kind of, my sister and my brother are kind of different people as far as mentality. My brother's kind of like a no nonsense, no sense of humor kind of person. But that's why he's still my brother. But my sister's definitely a lot more human than my brother is. I'll put it that way. I probably would go to the other extreme on that. There's a lot of stuff I did that people know. Here's a couple things you guys didn't know about me. I did stand-up comedy for like 6 months back in 2007 and 8. I used to do Comedy Works in Denver all the time.
That
And I did
doesn't surprise me.
I did a contest and I made it like you literally did a couple like 4 weeks to practice, and then every week it was a competition and people got eliminated. You wasn't So I made it through almost 6 months of the competition, which is great. And it was fun. But my mom brought her friend that was really religious, and I was kind of like one of those blue comedians who dropped F bombs and stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna fill out half my routine. It threw me off and I got eliminated that night. My brother was there too, so it was like I Mr. No Sense of Humor. And then my mom's really religious friend is like, "Hey, let's go see Nate drop F bombs." There was some good stuff. I used to do Comedy Works in Denver all the time. I met a few people. If you guys ever hear about Josh Blue, Josh Blue's a comedian from Denver, and he has I don't think it's Down syndrome, but something similar. He actually won that last comic standing the first year it was on, and he's a really famous comedian now in Denver and stuff. And he goes all over the country. So, and I got this guy Sam Adams, who was a huge sports writer in Denver. He was also a stand-up comedian, and he worked for the Rocky Mountain A's, which went out of business. He used to be like Denver Post. So I got to know Sam pretty good, and he got me into a lot of stuff because he covered the Broncos and the Avalanche and stuff for the Rocky Mountain News. But he was a stand-up too. It was great. That was one of the things I did in class. It was kind of cool. And I sold fire trucks for 2 years. And people were like, "You sold fire trucks?" And I'm like, "They have to come from somewhere." So I sold a lot to Aurora, Colorado. I sold a lot. I sold about 19 trucks in 2 years. And the dealer went out of business, which kind of sucked. But I used to go to Orlando, Florida, like 3 or 4 times a year for free. So it was kind of cool. Yeah. So I mean, I'm happy that everybody's working together. That's what this group's about. I mean, it's like literally finding 4 or 5 ways to get deals done, life changing. You got Glenn, you got all these. That's what it's about. I mean, I think that's why people will be coming to Reindeer. I think they'll hear about the success stories and people are like, they're just tired. They don't know where to go. They're just going to come with the groups that's going to make them feel welcome. And here you're going to get your deal done. We're gonna help you get your deal done. Your first deal. We don't want even if we're not making a penny off of it ourselves. It's going to help the people that help them do, because they're going to get a lot of deals that way as well. But we want to have a group that just is very welcoming and open and helps people. Nobody comes in and gets ripped apart like all these groups do. And there's so many times I want to go off on people, but I just don't do it anymore. I don't do it like it used to when I broker. I used to do that all the time when I was like years ago. I used to go off on like people, and sometimes I get frustrated on Bigger Pockets. Somebody was talking crap about, Lee Arnold has the certified private money broker program, and they're like, how dare he? How can he call it certified? And what gives me the authority to call it certified? It's like, dude, it's like the one broker program for private money brokers. It's like 4 days, and they give you a test, and they give you all this stuff. So I'm pretty sure you get more out of that 4-day class than every other lender that has brokers combined. Because you can pretty much just go push a button on the website and sign up to be a broker for most lenders without any experience or any knowledge or any training. So I don't know. I give it a few pet peeves. Most everything that we're doing in associates came out of some pet peeve I had while I was brokering. Just I gotta help these people. I can't this really drives me nuts. And the only way I can not get upset is by just doing something to help people avoid all these jerks. And some people would do things that are they give bad advice that is well intentioned. I think 90% of the bad information is well intentioned. I think it's just that people don't have they're just passing down stuff that they don't really know anything about in depth. That's kind of the flux of what's going on. So Wednesday night we're going to talk a little bit more in depth. I'll try to get Danny on. I know he's trying to get on tonight. He'll try so we can talk about Agents Gather. He's updated a lot of stuff at Agents Gather. He's got the servers pretty much almost where he wants them to be. And then we're going to talk more about the guides and how to select them. There is a nice funding. If people, I'm telling people if you're not on right now, but you got deals, bring them Thursday night. I'm going to try to get as many of the lenders as I can here. And then next week we go to Monday and Thursdays, and that'll be pretty much until, we may just keep Mondays and Thursdays year round. We may, we'll make adjustments if we need to. There will always be at least one associate Zoom a week, even when we got reindeer up, because we need to have something that's more like what you guys get into, and then we can discuss, we can discuss metrics and the financials and all that, the revenue. Because, it's going to be a little bit before we can actually pay revenue out, even if we got revenue coming in. Because, like I said, I don't want to give everybody $2. That's kind of stupid. And I think in some cases, I think the payment processing could be more than that. But we want to show people that we're going to set it aside, so at least it pools there. So pretty much that's what I got tonight, unless anybody has anything else they want to go over. So cool. I'm gonna go ahead and log out and process this. I'm gonna do a live on Facebook Live while I'm processing it because I need to kind of give some updates to the general public about it. Because so now we're trying to get people in. Remember, so people can join. They'll be able to join for $100, and then they'll have 2 months. They'll have to between June 1st and July 1st. So they'll have that 30-day period where they can make a decision if they want to stay in, and then just pay the difference. And then they'll still get lifetime if they do that, if they do the payment plan, or they can just pay $3.99 and they're in, and now they got lifetime. After that'll be $99. There won't be any more lifetime. There'll be an annual. That'll happen next year, so people can join. There's still 4, really realistically, because Paul, Danny, myself, Jesse, and Kevin are. I don't consider us like in the 125. We're kind of like so. When we actually hit about 130, because there'll be the 5 of us are in the group. Everybody else, the other 125 will be in there, and that's when we're pretty much capped at 125. Just so you guys know. And then, like I said, we're ready to go. I mean, probably on the 15th we'll be able to start taking subscriptions. And then because they're going to be slow, we want people to know they can use the resources, come on the Zooms and all that stuff. So at least they can start working on deals while we're adding all the content. So they don't come in and join and go, what's this? There's nothing here. So, I try to avoid that from happening. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Reach out to me if you got anything.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See you, Pippo. See you, Doris.
See you, Nate.
Cool.
Have a
Talk to
good
you
one.
guys. All right.
Have a good night, Papa.